What's going on YouTube? So Audis have always been known for their sharp styling,
and few others do it better than this coupe-like Audi Q8, which has been heavily refreshed for 2024.
So with new design and new features, is this the flagship luxury SUV you want in your garage? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Alright, so let's start things out under the hood as always. So for 2024, the Q8 will continue with the same engine option as before. It's a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine. This is producing 335 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. You have an 8-speed automatic transmission, standard quattro all-wheel drive, and fuel economy also remains the same at 19 combined.
Now, of course, we're going to be taking this refreshed Q8 out for a drive to see how quiet it is and get things like our signature sound level reading. Now, after that drive, we'll also be talking about pricing and 2 new elements we're integrating into our reviews, predicted resale value and reliability. So you'll certainly want to stay tuned for that.
But first, let's go ahead and close up the hood because a lot of this refresh is revolving the exterior and interior upgrades. So if you're an Audi aficionado, you will notice immediately that there are some changes up here in the front. Now, of course, Audi has a signature design language, so you're not going to see any radical changes in terms of the overall shape of the grille and things like that. But they have definitely done a lot of work here to make this Q8 look a little bit more aggressive than it did before, especially if you choose the black optic package. So that is what we have today on this example, and you'll notice that our grille and all this surrounding area is going to be finished in black, which is the same color black as the exterior design in this case. We also have new badging up here in the front. These are the latest Audi logos. These are also finished in black and shared with the Q8 e-tron. I do want to mention that the Q8 e-tron is not related to this gas Q8 in any way. They just happen to share the same name now for 2024. Let's also take a look at the headlights. These are new this year. You can see we have a really cool look to these. So new matrix LEDs are going to be on all the models. We have the Prestige though, so we have the laser matrix LEDs. What this gives you is a really cool feature, a customizable daytime running light. So you'll notice we have all these cool signature lights. You can actually kind of pick different designs which light up certain elements inside of the light for that personalized appearance. Now, of course, as we move to the rear, this is where you really start to see the sleek design come into play, and you're also going to see some 2024 upgrades.
Yeah, so as far as those upgrades, the taillights are really going to be the main element. So just like in the front where we get updated headlights, we're also going to get updated taillights for this refreshed model. Now, overall, the just accent lighting is updated this year. The overall shape is mostly the same, and Drew's going to go ahead and go through our brake light cycles so we can see if all the elements are LED. So we have an LED brake light portion. Our LED reverse light has been relocated up here, and we also have that dynamic turn signal indicator. I love the taillight design. All 3 elements are LED on all models. Really a beautiful overall shape. Now, as far as other 2024 changes, you will notice that we have new branding. So we have new Q8 brandings. We also have new Audi logos back here to give you that nice modern look. And then down at the bottom, the lower diffuser is mostly the same. However, there's a really important thing that is different for 2024. We now get real exhaust pipes. So the 2023 had faux exhaust pipes. For 2024, Audi's adding back real exhaust. So they were kind of one of the first people to switch to faux exhaust. Now they're moving back towards real exhaust. I like that a lot better. As far as your tow rating is concerned, it's going to be about 7,800 pounds for all Q8 models.
Of course, no refresh would be complete without some new wheel options, and we do indeed have some new designs across the lineup of Q8s. What we have on today's model is the 22-inch alloy wheel. We've got the contrast machine finish, so you've got the silver and dark gray accents. They certainly pop with this overall design, and they look quite large. Now, in terms of our mirrors, you are going to have a fully loaded mirror selection. So that means that you have auto dimming, you have power folding, and of course you have blind spot monitoring and heating as well.
Now at this side, you see that signature Q8 look. This vehicle looks absolutely amazing, and the sleek side profile is one of the reasons why. Now, as far as overall vehicle length, it's 196 inches long. Now, for 2024, Audi is making some improvements to safety systems. You are going to have all 4 active safety features as standard equipment on this Q8, which is certainly something I like to see on their flagship luxury vehicle. But guys, there are some updates on the inside that we can't wait to talk about, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into that luxurious interior. First, of course, we'll take a quick look at the key fob. Typical Audi key fob with the nice piano black and metal finish. Of course, you do have standard smart entry, but I do want to point out for 2024 that you get remote start now via the Audi application, so that's a good thing. And as we come back, of course, you can just reach behind the handle. That's going to unlock the door. These are electronic door handles, so you just pull lightly and that will go ahead and open it up. I do want to mention that we have soft close doors, so they will pull themselves closed. And you'll notice in the pillar, this is where we have kind of the Q8 TFSI badging now. Now the windows are frameless on this model, just like a coupe. And you'll notice that they're very thick on today's example, so we'll see how that impacts the sound level reading later on in this video. But for now, welcome aboard and take a look at this interior. Obviously, it's very luxurious looking. You have a lot of rich materials, which we'll dig into. But first, let's talk about the seats. So when you choose a top model, this is the Prestige model with luxury package, it's going to give us Valcona leather. This is a more premium leather than the standard leather that you get on the other models. As you can see, it has nice perforation. We have color contrast stitching and piping throughout, and it's very soft and supple. In terms of the seat adjustments themselves, these are 18-way power adjusting seats, and you'll notice that button right there. That means we have massaging abilities as well. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now, as far as the overall color scheme, this is called Sarder Brown. We have a lot of gray accents as well. And let's get into the overall cabin materials. So, as we take a look at the door trim, you'll notice it's brown through the armrest. You have a gray Alcantara through the center. And then we have the extended leather group, so that's going to give us the real leather that goes across the tops of the door trim, as well as all across the upper dashboard. It's very nice. And then as we go down below, we have a lot of beautiful open pore wood. This is one of the things that was updated for 2024 is the fact that we have new trim selections across the lineup. You'll see that whatever trim you select all through the center console as well. And we have a nice leather trim through here for your knee to rest against. Everything, of course, is rock solid in typical Audi fashion. Well, let's go ahead and fire it up. So diving into some of the individual features now, let's take a look at our gauge cluster first of all. As you can see, you've got, the Audi Virtual Cockpit system. This is a 12.3-inch display. It continues to be very impressive in terms of its graphics and overall performance. Plus, if you get a Prestige model, that's also going to give you the head-up display up top. Now, taking a look at the steering wheel, we have the premium leather-wrapped steering wheel with the double stitching details. In terms of our wipers, those are going to be rain sensing, and the wheel itself is power tilt and telescoping across the lineup. We also have steering wheel heating as well. Now, this is a pretty big SUV, but let's take a look at interior storage. So when I open up our center console, you might be surprised to know that we don't have much space. This is something that a lot of Audis struggle with, is that the consoles are very small. We only had room for 2 donuts. So that's really why we do the donut test, if you're wondering. Because just because you have a big SUV on the outside doesn't mean you have a big amount of space on the inside. So that's why we test that out. You will notice that we have a wireless phone charging pad that's going to be located inside of here. Plus you have 2 USB-Cs. This armrest itself is adjustable as well, so it can slide back and forth. Now in front of that, you've got your 2 cup holders with a little slot for your key fob to set. And then over here next to the steering wheel, this really is where you can get some additional storage. So if I slide that out, you'll notice we got a couple more donuts inside of there, bringing our total to 4. That's a pretty cool, like donut dispenser. You could roll down the windows, throw them out at little kids or something like that. Be pretty fun. Now, in terms of a shifter, this is an electronic style shifter. Typical Audi fashion. It hasn't changed for 2024, so just bump to the right for manual shifting via the paddle shifters. When we push up, we go into reverse, and we'll see a 360-degree camera system. Really nice resolution on board with this. I also like that the camera itself bends with the active trajectory. Of course, you have both front and rear parking sensors. You have auto parking ability. And then, of course, everyone's favorite thing is that you have the special 3D view. Although it does look like the digital version of the Q8 is still awaiting its refresh design. Now, of course, you have your electronic parking brake, and then above that, you've got a little row of buttons, including our volume knob. So what we have with this model is the 17-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. So let's go ahead and give that a sample right now. This is a very expensive SUV, and we have high expectations because of that, and this is definitely a very good sounding sound system. It really fills up the cabin nicely and has a well-balanced sound profile. Okay, so let's kind of dig in next to our display setup. So this isn't being changed for 2024 in terms of the layout, so you still have 2 screens. This is 8.6 inches on the bottom, 10.1 inches on the top. The bottom is going to be used mostly for climate control, so that's what you see on the display right now. We have 4 zones of climate with this Q8 on most versions, so that means you can make all those adjustments, including our temperature, fan speeds, individually on each passenger. It does have haptic touch feedback as well, so it kind of feels like you're touching a physical button. We also have 3-stage heated seats right there, as well as 3-stage ventilated seats on our top trim levels. And then going to the upper display, we're seeing some software upgrades for 2024. So there's a little bit extra functionality and stuff built into it. One of the things that Audi has done is added some additional apps this year. So you'll notice that we have things like Alexa, that's to help out with the voice assist functions. And you also have the ability to add some additional apps into this infotainment system, specifically for audio. Now, in terms of the features that you expect to see, of course, you do have built-in navigation. You also have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay continuing on this year wirelessly. Up top, we have an auto-dimming mirror. HomeLink remotes are actually built into the lower display. And then we have a very large panoramic sunroof. This does open up still, and you might notice that the headliner looks a little bit different. This is part of the luxury package, so we have the full Alcantara finish.
Now here in the rear seats of the Q8, we're not going to see very many changes for 2024, so that means in terms of overall space, we're still going to have quite a lot of it. 40 inches of legroom, about 38 inches of headroom. As far as how that compares, that is a very good amount of space for a second row. But we don't have to sit here and guess, because here at Car Confections, we brought our ruler with us so we can measure how much knee space there is behind Drew's 5'8" seating position and my 5'9" self. So we're looking at about 8.5 to 9 inches of knee room. And as far as the headroom, I will just point out, it actually is pretty good just because they've made this cutout here, even though it does have that sleek coupe-like design. Now, as far as features are concerned, here in the center we do have vents, as you would expect. You also have vents integrated into the B-pillar as well. And then dropping down below that, we have our own climate adjustment. So as you can see, we can adjust 4 zones of climate back here. All of it is done via this touch-sensitive pad here, which is actually quite easy to use. Additionally, we're going to have 3-stage heated rear seats. No ventilated seats are available, though. We have a 12-volt outlet. We also have 2 USB-C ports. And I want to point out that these rear seats do actually slide forward and back a very good distance. Not really sure why you would want them slid forward, considering this is not a 3-row. And then as far as the seat back adjustment, finally found the handle. We can recline it back ever so slightly. It's not a ton, but it's definitely enough to make sure you're nice and comfortable. Now, turning over to the door trim, you will notice that we have that frameless glass, and we also have power rear window sunshade, so that's a really bougie feature, and I can even control it over here on the left side for the right window, so I think that's pretty bougie. If the sun's blinding you on that side and it's too straining to reach over and power do it, you can just do it on your side. Now, as far as the door trim, leather on vast majority of it on the upper part, wood trim, Alcantara, and then door storage is pretty good. It actually is big enough to fit a Stanley water bottle in the door trim itself. However, do keep in mind these pop-out cup holders here are certainly not big enough. I think you're going to have a shot glass to fit in this cup holder area. I wish they'd update that to at least make it to where American cups would fit in there. And checking out the cargo area, as you would expect out of a flagship luxury SUV, standard hands-free power tailgate. And as far as this area is concerned, it's going to be 30 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. It's going to be 60 cubic feet if I fold those seats down. Do keep in mind there are no handles to fold the second row from the cargo area, so I will have to go up there and fold them manually. Now, we went ahead and folded the seats down. As you can see, they do fold 40-20-40 split folding. And I'm going to go ahead and get my tape measure out and measure how much cargo length we have. Here at Car Confections, we do that in all of our reviews in case you're looking to haul something specific. And we're looking at 77 inches of overall cargo length. From behind the second row, it's going to be about 40 inches long. See how wide the opening is. That's also going to be about 41 inches wide. Do keep in mind, though, you're not going to be able to stack up a ton because this has that coupe's design, so that's going to mean that, that obviously impedes on your overall cargo stacking abilities. And then, as far as other features, underneath the floor, we do have a spare tire, and there's also buttons on the side to raise and lower the air suspension to make loading in objects easier. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the refreshed Audi Q8. In this test drive, we're going to be talking about quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting that sound level reading to see how quiet this refreshed flagship is. But first, we're going to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration to show you what the powertrain's about.
There's a little taste of the acceleration. We'll get another one as we come up to this bigger road, but this continues, as we said with the spec dump, with the 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine with 335 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. So it's a very powerful engine. It's also very smooth and refined. I noticed when I was accelerating there initially just how quiet it is. You don't hardly hear anything. All right, and that's 60 miles an hour.
Very refined.
Very, yes.
Yeah.
It's just so quiet, but it's also just has a little bit of a growl.
Yeah.
And it is smooth. You do not feel any vibrations or anything entering into the cabin. Just plenty of power on tap. 0-60 on this is 5.5 seconds. This is the standard engine. Unlike the Q7 where you have a 4-cylinder on the base end, this is what you get as standard equipment with the Q8. But of course you can escalate, excuse me, up to the SQ8 and the RSQ8 for those who are very power hungry.
Yeah, the SQ8 is going to have a 4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's going to make 500 horsepower. 0-60 on that's 4 seconds, and then the RSQ8 is just bonkers when it comes to performance. So just know those are options if you want it, but this is going to be the powertrain choice that the vast majority of people will choose. And I'm very happy with it. Nice, smooth refinement, and like Drew said, just gives you that power exactly how you want it.
Now, paired with this V6 is the 48-volt mild hybrid system. This operates nice and smoothly. Its primary objective is really the auto start-stop system, so it allows the engine just to spend more time off when you're at light load, so it could even turn off while you're cruising, but most of the time it turns off while you're coming to a stop. As far as the transmission is concerned, we have an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's very nice and smooth when we're just cruising around town. Of course, you have different drive modes which will impact the performance of the transmission. And it'll impact other things inside of the cabin as well, including our steering and the fact that we have an air suspension. So I do want to go ahead and mention this because this is very important for the overall feel of the Q8, because we've got the Prestige, we've got the air suspension.
Yeah.
So when you put it into sport mode, it's going to tighten things down. Actually, you could see it was physically lowering the vehicle itself as well, so that when we go around corners, we have a more agile feel. This is still primarily a comfort-focused vehicle, though, so I would recommend choosing the SQ8 if you want, maximum performance, but this is certainly no slouch. It really takes a corner nicely, minimal body roll when you're in the sport mode. And then, of course, the best thing about it is that you can go into comfort later on and really emphasize ride quality again.
And let me go ahead and go into the comfort setting, take it back out of sport, and discuss ride quality really quickly. This road is very rough. There's a lot of those like manholes and potholes in the road. And I will say the air suspension certainly does a very good job of just kind of taking out the harshness of any type of bump. We do have large 22-inch alloy wheels even, and I do still think that this rides really nicely. Now, I don't think it rides quite as nice as something like a BMW X7 or a Mercedes-Benz GLS. So do keep that in mind if you happen to be cross-shopping between those other flagship German luxury vehicles. This will ride a little bit more on the rough side, but overall, it's still a very good ride quality, especially here with the Prestige's air suspension. Now, as far as other things to talk about, I do want to mention your fuel economy. So we do have standard quattro all-wheel drive. We said that at the spec dump, as you would expect out of Audi as well. So that means we have a fuel economy of 17.23.19 combined for the standard Q8 model, which I do want to point out is really not fantastic fuel economy, especially for a two-row. Even though this is a pretty large vehicle, it's still not great fuel economy, that's for sure. Some of the other Germans will do better. The SQ8 is going to further reduce that down to 17 miles per gallon. All right, and let's get our sound level reading going, 55 miles per hour. Wow, 51.2 decibels is our official sound level reading, going 55 miles per hour in this Audi Q8. And, this is something I was very curious about because the Prestige model actually adds the dual pane laminated glass. So you're going to get additional sound deadening when you choose this high-end Prestige model. And wow, that is a very good sound level reading, that's for sure. Just sitting in here, it feels like a serene environment. It feels like very much like a luxury SUV should in terms of the noise entering the cabin. But I don't want to sit here and guess how it compares to those rivals, because we can actually go to carconfections.com/sound level readings, and on our website we have posted all the cars that we review, which, trust me, is a lot of vehicles, so you'll want to check that out for yourself. And that is certainly a good sound level reading that actually places it as the second quietest option in the luxury two-row midsize SUV category. So very, very impressive, that's for sure. But you would expect that out of Audi's flagship luxury SUV. And let's go ahead and discuss the Slam Dunk and Airball. Drew, do you want to kick us off with the Slam Dunk?
Yeah, the Slam Dunk is going to be the 2024 updates, particularly to the styling. That's really the strongest thing about this Q8 is just how good it looks. It looks fantastic still, and things like those updated lights and wheels really set it off.
Yeah. On the Airball side of things, we are going to probably say the same thing as last year. We really wish that they would do something with the storage. It's just very problematic because the center console has almost no space, especially if you want to use it as a wireless phone charging pad. You really have zero center console space, and the only other spot you have to put anything is the cup holder. So that's something that you're certainly going to notice compared to a lot of the rivals. You have a lot worse storage solutions, so if that matters a lot to you, you may not like this Q8. Audi's signature warranty applies here as well, so it's a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain. They have not added complimentary maintenance, unlike BMW. Now for pricing, you can see the full lineup on the screen right now. As far as an increase this year, it's going to be about $2,000 to $3,000 depending on what trim level you're looking at. For this prestige level, you're going to start at a little over 81 grand. We also have quite a few of the options that you can select, and $1195 destination. We're sitting at $92,170 as tested today. If you're looking to buy an Audi Q8 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, why you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealer negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and there's also a pinned comment at the top of this video. Now let's talk about potential resale value and reliability to make sure you're making a smart purchase. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Audi Q8's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years, this vehicle will be worth 40.5% of its original MSRP and 14.4% after 10 years and 120,000 miles. That does mean in relation to all other vehicle makes, this is ranked lower in terms of resale value percentage, and it's also ranked a little lower than average when it comes to luxury vehicle brands as well.
We've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index, which is based on a combination of automotive sources on reliability. In this metric, Audi is rated below average compared to other vehicle makes as well as luxury makes.
If you'd like to check out all of our data about reliability and resale values, as well as learn about our methodology, be sure to head to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a vehicle is a big decision, and you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Guys, that's going to be the end of our in-depth review of the refreshed 2024 Audi Q8. If you enjoyed seeing all the changes for this refreshed 24 Q8 and, enjoyed being one of the first people to learn about the US spec of this Q8 model, please hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you help us to get more opportunities like this where we can come out and review new and refreshed models because you do really play a very pivotal role in the amount of content that we're able to make. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.